Hello! Starting a little bit late. Had a surprise coughing fit right before recording, so hopefully I'll be able to talk for a while. But no promises there. It is, what is today? March, oh, it's Pi Day! It's March 14th, 2019. Of course it's Pi Day. I had pie like twice today, and it was great. And I was, very happy about the pie today. Anyway, so we usually start with a recap. What did I do last time? Oh, right, I worked on my Pokemon game that I haven't touched in years. Mostly just wanted to get it running again. And I did do that. If this works. Yeah, so, I got it running again. But that was about it. That was all I tried to do last time. And I don't really want to work on this today, but it does kind of work. We also found that it was buggy. But that's fine anyway. But this is what I got working again last time. And the text stuff, but anyway, we're not gonna work on that today. What I want to work on today is a set of 2 different issues. Can you guys see this? Hopefully. So we're going to be working on pre-commit today, which, if you don't know what pre-commit is, I would highly suggest checking it out. It's probably better framed as a multi-language linter runner thing. But I don't know. It runs linters. It also knows about Git hooks, so it can do stuff there. It knows a bunch of different programming languages. Let's see, where's the programming languages part? Knows a bunch of different programming languages, so we can create hooks in any of these languages, and technically anything, because you can use Docker, and so Docker can do stuff. But there's one big change that I wanted to get out in the next release that was actually contributed by a Twitch follower. And it speeds up cloning a bunch by using shallow cloning when available. And I wanted to do the last little things to get it over the line and make sure that it doesn't kind of like break stuff. But the idea behind shallow cloning, it's not actually a shallow clone, it's a kind of a bare clone that does a shallow fetch. And the trick there is in newer Git protocols, there's this fetch depth 1, which is new and seems to work pretty well. GitHub at least supports it, so that part's good. Well, I guess that's not strictly true. GitHub supports it if you use a specific protocol, and only sometimes otherwise. But unfortunately, we try that protocol first, and then we try the backup protocol, and then we fall back to the slow clone. But this caused some test failures, and we're going to look into those today. And the test failures are entirely my fault, because I introduced a hack. Not exactly a hack, but a approach at installing npm packages that causes problems. So the problem here is when npm tries to install from a shallow clone, it doesn't know what to do because there's no master branch, and so we have to kind of fix that. But shouldn't be too hard. Let's first get up to date here. Okay, so I'm gonna add Daniel's remote, and we'll go from there. Copy so I don't have to remember it. So it's this shallow clone branch. Looks like it's 8 commits behind, but that's okay. And the one test that's failing is this test run version node hook. So I'm actually kind of surprised that this one fails, but this one does not. So we're gonna try this one first, because this test is way faster than the other one. But it's possible that this is just like an old version of NPM that doesn't know how to deal with Git repositories as well. Although 9.3 is pretty recent, right? Node release dates. Let's see. These versions look... Where's version 9? Oh, this is the V8 version. Okay, I was looking at the wrong column here. So node... Oh boy, it it switched to the responsive view. That's not what I want. So 9.2 was released in 2017. So that's already kind of old. So that might be why this is failing. What was the test called? Versions. Copy this like 2 times now. And I'm using PyTest here, and I'm using the -k flag, which matches test, like the test identifier by some sort of pattern matching. And that allows me to run just a single test and not the whole 559 tests in the test suite. But unfortunately, this version of node hook test is much slower than this one, so it's going to be harder for us to iterate on this. Yeah. So the reason, so this is doing kind of a weird thing to install. It's installing npm install -g git plus file : / and then the path to the pre-commit repository that gets cloned. So this is a little bit weird, and it was the best solution I had at the time to this problem. See if I can find it. npm. Yeah, so I switched from npm install -g dot to this file path. Delete my fork of pre-commit. Get out. No. Why would I do that? This is not the original issue that I ran into. I think this is the one that I started with. Yeah. So I noticed when you clone this particular repository cspell, which is implemented in TypeScript, and like in order to install it or build it or whatever, you need to run the TypeScript compiler and do a bunch of stuff. But if you clone a repo and then run npm install -g dot inside of it, it crashes. Like, it doesn't properly build. And I wasn't sure why, and after poking around a bit, I noticed that if I installed it with Git, it worked fine. So even if so instead of cloning, I'm just using npm install -g with the Git repository, and it works. Like, I didn't need to do anything extra to make that work. And so my clever thought was, oh, I'll just make pre-commit do this trick as well. But instead of cloning from Git, it'll clone from the file system, but using Git. I don't know. It was perhaps a little bit too clever, and clearly it is going to cause some bugs. So that's not going to work. Where did that go? But instead, it looks like Lars says that I can run these two commands and then run this, and it'll work. It also seems like I could just run npm run prepare, maybe? I'm gonna play around with this and see what the minimum command is that I need to make cspell work. I suspect it's probably just this prepare, but we'll find out. And so the tool that Precommit uses to make node environments is a tool called nodeenv, and it downloads an entire node executable to make stuff work. But then it essentially gives you your own prefix environment where you can install whatever you want, and it kind of makes it so you can isolate your node modules in a different way. I understand that normal npm has its own way of prefixing modules. Like you end up with a node modules directory, and actually I probably have one. Let's see. No, I don't have that cloned. But yeah, usually you end up with node modules and then a .bin directory, and that's where your scripts will end up. But this lets you have a nodeenv directory and isolated npm and isolated install of node. So even though on my host machine I am running, let's see what version, I'm running 10.15.3, but here I'm running 11.11.0. That's kind of a cool version number, 11.11. Make a wish, I guess. What's that repository called? This one. Yeah, so the broken state is if we cd into cspell and run npm install -g dot and then run cspell. It doesn't work. But we'll see after it uninstalls, which apparently takes forever. Why does it extract? What is it doing? What just happened? What is going on? Oh, I should have run npm uninstall -g, I guess. I don't know why npm uninstall cspell has to install a bunch of things. Like, this seems pretty wrong. Removed 4 packages, but added 277. What? But my... Oh, this is a... Oh no, it's an airplane outside. It's like, this is a different song, but it's a airplane outside. So if I run npm prepare... that seems to not be a thing. What if I just run npm install? This is doing a lot of stuff. It's like it's running tests, like, I don't think that's what I want. What if I do npm run prepare? run prepare. Okay, so that doesn't work. Do I literally need what this says here? Okay, so it runs install dev prod, ignore pre-publish, no progress, no save. And then what? Preparing git package. Oh, and then it runs package. Package. Don't know where that is. No results. Okay, well that's a dead end. But I guess we should run this same command here, even though it does a bunch of stuff that we don't particularly need to run. I think I could probably get rid of the --dev, maybe? In fact, usage of the dev option is deprecated. Yeah, so I can probably get rid of that. And just do this. Ignore pre-publish. What if I just do this? Is that enough to make this work? Takes a while. And then install -g dot. Okay, that seems to be enough. Maybe I'll just do that instead. Yeah, so this was the change that happened before. And I guess I'll end up reverting that. Yeah, so git revert, and that's a merge commit. So we'll run npm install and then npm install -g dot. I guess I don't need no progress because it's probably running in the background. And fun little fact about Flake8 or PyCode style or Pep8. Even though this is way over the 80 character limit that would be normally enforced on this file, there's a special case for URLs that allows it to go over 80 characters. I think it's a little bit silly, but it works, I guess. So the thing that I want to make sure still works here, we don't really have a test for this. This is giving me deja vu. Oh no. What's up, fat drinking boba? Oh, thanks for subscribing, man. That's awesome. Do I know you? I think I know you. I think you're my friend. How's it going? What was I doing? Hey, and now you have the little subscriber thing next to you. Twitch Prime, yeah, Twitch Prime is pretty nice. What was I doing? I've completely forgotten. Oh, I was gonna try repo and make sure that still worked. C-spell. So before, this used to crash because it didn't know how to build npm packages properly. So we need to make sure that it still works. It should fail here because I've reverted the thing that makes it work. We'll see. It takes a while. And this is where I drop frames, right? 'Cause it downloads a giant node executable. Where's the archive of previous streams? Or does Twitch like not host them unless you have 9 zillion viewers? Yeah, I have to have like 9 zillion viewers to have Twitch host them, but I've been putting most of them up, or at least the last like 12 or so streams up on YouTube. So if you want to find those, they're at youtube.com/AnthonyWrightsCode. And there's a playlist that includes all of them. There's a lot of content there. If you want some of the more fun streams, what was my favorite stream that's out there? Unfortunately, the favorite stream I've ever done, I did not get to record because that was before I had. Maybe I had hard disk space. I just didn't know what I was doing. But we went through this page, which was pretty hilarious. It appears to not be satire. I posted. Oh, I guess I'll show it on stream because I'm just looking at it off screen. It's the anti-if campaign, which is. It seems dead serious, but it's like, if statements are evil because this code looks ugly, and you should use objects for everything because object-oriented programming solves all if statements. And like they show a clearly bad example and like intentionally bad indentation, but it gets better. Like, also this webpage looks really professional. Like, good job on the webpage, but like, I feel really bad for any like newcomer that doesn't realize that this is a bad idea. But then my favorite part is they get to this example down here, where there's like random braces that are commented out. I also don't know why it wiggles when I select stuff, but we're gonna pretend that's okay. Also, of course, there's a cookie policy thing here. Where's the other part that's really awkward? Oh yeah, just like random commented out curly braces and like lack of indentation. It's like, yeah, of course this is bad, but you would just like use a code formatter or not be bad at programming. And like, there aren't particularly bad things about this code here other than the indentation problems, and those are pretty easy to fix. And like any like, well, pretty scary, huh? Yeah, but anyway, we spent like a whole like 2 hours just like trying to find some code to remove if statements from, but only ironically and in the most terrible way possible. But unfortunately, it didn't get recorded, and I don't think anyone downloaded a copy from Twitch until it was just poof, gone. But anyways, it does look like this this works properly here, so that's good. Or at least it fails. And in theory, this should succeed now. But I wonder if we can cut some corners, because it seems to me like when I tried it out in the temporary directory, we ended up with We ended up with this giant node modules directory, but then also a giant node modules in here, probably too. Oh, that one's small. Maybe it reuses it? No, that seems large. Why is that so large? Okay, that's fine. Hey, why does it have the entire source here? That's not helpful. Oh, I think pre-commit works around that, if I remember right. Type error run setup command. Oh. Right. Need the actual arguments to make this work. Yeah, that's weird. I kind of expected it to duplicate all of the dependencies, but it doesn't seem to have. Oh, it's just installed a symlink. That's clever, I guess. Probably doesn't do that on Windows, though. Interesting. Would not have expected that, but I guess that's better than duplicating all those node modules. But we'll see if this hook actually works now. And then we'll check if the test passes. But yeah, the anti-if campaign's pretty funny. Oh no, look at all these spelling errors. Let's see if there's actually any legitimate ones in here. A lot to look through though. Holy crap. Maybe we won't look through all of these. Of course it's gonna like mark every... Oh, that one's actually spelled wrong. Oh, I think I intentionally spelled it wrong. Yeah, I definitely intentionally spelled that one wrong. Okay. Unknown word. I don't know what that word is either. It looks to me like these are all just variable names. Invariantly? Is that not a word? I feel like I use this word all the time. How is it not a word? I mean, this seems to think it's a word. If nothing else, it's like an English bastardization of, oh, we're just gonna invent a word by slapping a suffix on the end of it. What is the secret to talking to yourself for hours in a row? Probably a healthy amount of insanity and maybe a dash of narcissism. I don't really know. It was definitely much harder for me at first, but now it just kind of seems natural. And oftentimes it's not just talking to myself. Like sometimes it'll be talking to Chad or like answering questions or just kind of shooting the shit. Actually, I feel like most streams I don't write much code at all. We just spend time like doing other stuff. Okay, let's see if we made this test pass by fixing that. It should pass now, in theory. Famous last words. But this is one of the slower tests. There was a time in the when I split the test suite into slow and fast tests, but it's not that way anymore. Single quotes npm install before npm install -g. So this fix appears to work, which is good enough, I guess. I seem to remember that in a sad twinge of irony, the person contributing to pre-commit wasn't running the GitHooks. But what are you gonna do? And the other thing that I wanted to do, or I wanted to check, is when using this branch, does pre-commit auto-update still work? Because that was one of the concerns I had. The unfortunate thing is I don't have a new enough version of Git to actually take advantage of this code, I don't think. So how would I do that? I guess I could run Docker. Do I have one already downloaded? Yeah, we'll use Disco. We're gonna drop frames here. Dang it. Python 3 git. Anything else? Curl. Hopefully that's enough. Sorry, frames. We have to install Debian packages now. I haven't dropped any yet. Oh, that's gonna take forever. Okay, but in the meantime, I can push that branch so that CI can start testing it. I assume the next thing that we'll hit is coverage complaining about not hitting all the lines. This seems like a fun issue. Unrelated, but while this is downloading, while I drop frames, there's like a conflict between two different things, and apparently caused by pre-commit. But I seem to remember fixing this package so that it doesn't depend on wheel. Pip download import lib resources. That's right, I don't actually install pip on my systems. Anyway, hopefully that just like solves their problem. Also, I'm pretty sure this is fixed in a newer version of VM Update. Let's see what they're doing. I use VM Update. It's been quite a while. I think you can just grab this file. Oh, this finished. Okay, cool. Can't use HTTPS without CA certificates. Install that. And Debian has decided that distutils does no longer belong, or no longer belongs in the standard lib, so you have to separately install it. Which is kind of annoying, but Debian will do as Debian does. I need to install a text editor too, such as Docker. I'm gonna intentionally use an old revision. Trailing white space. Oh shoot. I just realized that I didn't actually... Oh, I can fix this though. I didn't actually mount my source directory, so I can't actually try the new version of precommit. But I can copy in a wheel into this Docker container and then work from there. Let's see, this is the Docker container. So I use Docker CP. And copy it to the root directory. Cool. Seems slightly faster than usual. Let's see if it actually did a shell clone. It looks like it did. Graph did. So now the question is, does precommit auto update work? It seems like it does, but I don't remember. I don't remember. My thought is that shouldn't work, but I can't remember how that's implemented. Commands, auto update. How does this work? Auto update loads the configuration. How do you waste your time? Most of my wasted time is spent, you know, like running or biking. Or drinking, but are you claiming that this is not me wasting my time? How's it going, Jay? Let's see. Loops through all of the repos. Skips the ones that are local or meta or not specified. Update repo. How's your Thursday going? It just runs git fetch, which I'm kind of surprised. Oh, actually, I think that'll just work. That'll work fine. Git branch -r. No branches there. I want today to end already, man. Yeah, it's been a long day for me too. I spent way too long in meetings today, which I wasn't too plussed about, but it wasn't, I guess it wasn't the worst, but like I talked to a lot of people and it was important that I was in those meetings, but it just felt like never enough meetings, more value, alignment, yeah. Spoken like a true a true salty engineer or a true product manager. But yeah, I chatted with some people not in my org today, which was good to like get some outside perspective on some of the stuff that my team is building. And sometimes we don't really get that. I'm like surprised that this works. Git describe origin master. Oh, I'm not even in this repo. Okay, so this did a full fetch. Oh no, it didn't. What? What is going on here? I guess it fetched from this tag onwards, which is good. But if you're ever on like a side tag, I don't know that that would work. But at least it doesn't crash, and it doesn't do nothing. I guess that's okay. Yeah, I guess it works. But it might make sense for me to change this to get ls remote or get wait, what is going on here? If tags only, use abbreviation equals 0. Or abbreviated is 0. What is that even? Oh, I don't have the the system has been minimized by removing packages and content that are not required on a system that users do not log into. Interesting. I've always wondered why man is not installed in Docker, but now I guess it makes sense. What is the best Pokemon, and why is it Detective Pikachu voiced by Ryan Reynolds? Seems like a bit of a pointed question there. Can you describe dash help? Instead of using the default 7 hexadecimals, use however many digits, or as many digits as needed to format the unique object name. An n of 0 will suppress long format, only showing the closest tags. Okay, so this is code for find me a tag. Otherwise it'll output a SHA. So I think I could replace all of this fetch with ls remote instead. These little dots are freaking out and I don't know why. I think replacing this with ls remote would be better future proof and it'd be faster in theory. Like if I ran get ls remote HTTPS. Is the Detective Pikachu movie out already? What Detective Pikachu release date? Oh, it's out in May. Let's see. People also search for Sonic the Hedgehog. This movie looks like it's gonna be absolutely terrible. Where's the like screenshots of it? Like, I don't know. I feel like this movie's gonna be really bad, and I feel like the Detective Pikachu movie's gonna be actually okay. But that's just me. Oh, I don't have less installed. Right. The trailers are out. Yeah, I've seen the trailers. The trailers look good. Surprisingly. Ooh, that's interesting. Get ls remote up. Limit to only refs heads and refs tags. These are not mutually exclusive. So I think I want... Oh wait, yeah. Heads, tags. Okay, that looks like a much shorter list. Actually, it's a very short list. Is there like an ordering? This is kind of in the reverse order that I would expect. Like this is the... I mean, it's in alphabetical order, but this is the newest tag. Sort, output, get ls remote. Dash dash sort, here we go. Dash dash sort equals I guess it would be this. That error or something? No? Oh, I bet I need this flag before this. Yeah. Committer date. Fatal, missing object for refs tags. That's clearly not what I want. Oh, for objects which have not been fetched for the remote. Oh, that's kind of crappy. So maybe LS remote is not the answer. It's so close to what I want. Like, it has all the information here. But I suspect these are not in any sensible order. Like, what if I do pre-commit, which I know has non-alpha tags? Yeah, so it just kind of... it intermingles them, which is gross. I guess I could, like, version sort these. That's gonna be crazy. Maybe the fetch answer is fine. Works well enough. I can't think of any cases where it's broken, so I'll just leave it. The other thing that I wanted to test, I don't need this Docker container anymore. The other thing I wanted to test is, I seem to remember sometimes you can succeed at a shallow clone and then fail at finding the submodules under it. I need to find some of my one of my repos that has a submodule, I guess. All repos, find files, get modules. Be 2. Yeah, they're both big. I wonder. Sample GitHub repo with submodules. Example submodule. Here we go. Nope. Nope. There are no submodules in here. Adding an example dependency. What is GitHub training? What is this? Oh. Like, actually something from GitHub. Interesting. The problem is I need something I can clone that has a submodule. Hey, what's up, Juan? How's it going? How's your Thursday? GitHub, I guess we can do site, github.com, file, get modules. Oh, that's not how that works. In URL. Like how Mono and TensorFlow are the first that comes up. Hugo themes, that sounds small. Holy crap. Okay, maybe not that one. Terraform website. That one also is ridiculous. Why are there so many? I want submodules and there's a bajillion of them. Not that many. This is not too bad. Let's take... Well, I don't actually know how large those are. Let's take this commit. So this is how shallow cloning works. I guess I can clone... You can shallow clone the original repository at master. That's not what I'm assuming is broken here. What I think is broken is initializing submodules. I'm pretty sure if I do git submodule update init depth equals 1, that it can crash on some of these, maybe? Yeah, so we get this error, server does not allow requests for unadvertised object. This is what happens when a git that doesn't understand the version 2 protocol tries to request a shallow clone. But my question is, if I run this now, will it succeed? It does not, so that permanently poisons the repository, which is really not good. Which actually makes me think that we should probably only try, we should only like try the shallow clone if we absolutely know it will work by using protocol 2, and if that doesn't work, then do a full clone. Which is unfortunate, but oh no, not Windows. No, no, don't do this. Best clone. That's weird. I really expect Windows to be able to do this shallow clone because it's using a really new version of Get. If I remember right. Let's see, appver Git, or appver software versions. Installed software. Windows. Oh, 2.17.1 is actually kind of old. Oh, that's the same version I have installed. Yeah, so that's too old to actually do shallow clones. Huh. So that test will fail for old Git. So it actually probably fails on my computer now that I think about it. What was the name of that test? Where were we? Test clone. Yeah, it definitely fails on my computer, so we definitely can't ship like that. So I want to be able to run the tests on my own computer. Okay, so I fixed the npm problem by switching the install strategy. And I played with this a little bit on my own, and I have a few concerns, but I think we can solve them. The first is that auto update uses the clone repository to get fetch and look for newer versions. This seems fine, and I can't think of a case where this wouldn't work like I want it to. It seems to fetch forward from the shallow clone and still succeeds at updating. Typo here. Fix that typo. The test clone test fails on Windows, which is running Git 2.17.1. It fails on appver, not particularly Windows. because shallow clone isn't implemented there. It also fails on my computer. Ubuntu 1804, which coincidentally also runs Git 2.17.1. So we'll probably... it's wiggling. So we'll probably need to adjust that test to not fail when Git can't possibly clone. What is that emoji? Mad eye, very nervous. Yeah. Or maybe just not. CSS is awesome, joke moment. Yeah. Maybe just not assume that shallow, or maybe just not test the clone depth. It is an optional performance improvement after all. PHP is awesome. Is there a website for that? There's gotta be a website for that. PHP is awesome. 5 reasons why PHP 7 is awesome. Oh, here we go, guys. Okay. We're gonna strap in and read this guy's blog post about why PHP 7 is awesome. What about a GitHub awesome PHP repo? Oh yeah, they'll probably be one of those. But this is gonna be some good. What is going on? Stop. You guys see that? It's not just me, right? Or is the frame rate too low to see that? But this window is just like freaking out. Seems to be back. Oh no. All right. It's very much vibrating. But anyway, let's see. Vibrato HTML, yeah. I'm going to discuss in detail what makes PHP 7 awesome. Better performance, okay. Quality assurance practices. What? New programming practices. The V7 PHP is tremendous in programming practices and performances. Isn't that what was set up here? The overall LAMP stack constitute the PHP as a prominent part of it. Well, yeah, that's what the P is. Congrats. What is this? That looks hideous. Group use declaration. Oh, I see. It's like a multi-line from import. I get it now. The deprecated functionality has been eliminated. All functions that caused illegal memory consumption are gone. So there's no more memory leaks, no more seg faults ever. They're eliminated. Great. What? New operators that are introduced. A less than B is equal to A. Is there really a Unicode operator? Do not want that operator. Is this a thing? Or is it just like a markdown operator PHP? The comparison operators? A equals B. After type juggling. It's like the same crap that people give JavaScript for. Or the same... Oh, there is a spaceship operator. What? What does this do? Type juggling, can you get a combo? Yeah. What does this do? An integer less than or equal to or greater than 0 when a is... Oh, this is like the compare function. A Unicode poop B. Oh. An integer less than, equal to, or greater than 0 when a is less than, equal to, or greater than b. Okay, so this is like the old CMP function in Python 2. So this is the spaceship operator. The return value is negative, it's less than 0 or positive. I don't know why they decided that was necessary as an operator. And this guy's text editor converts that into this weird arrow Unicode. Oh, I can no longer scroll on this page. What is... There's a scroll bar here. But it's just like super broken. What is going on here? Oh, here's the scroll bar now. Okay. C++ is getting the spaceship operator too? Really? Why though? We have less than. I just want somebody to explain it to me. Why is it a three-way comparison? I guess, okay, I guess it makes sense why you would want that. Because you can, there are some cases where you can compute greater than or less than more efficiently than that way. Use standard compare three-way. Interesting. Okay. Maybe it's not so bad. It just seems weird when PHP adds something before before C++, or C++ follows PHP. I don't know. But yeah, I can't scroll on this webpage anymore, so we're not gonna read that guy's blog post. We're done with that. Did I finish making that comment? No, because there was something else I wanted to talk about. This tab? Shallow clone of submodules can leave submodules in a permanently non-clonable state. I think this means we shouldn't attempt the protocol equals 1 clone. And I should show what that looks like. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. So where was that tab? Oh, I'm gonna have to re-indent all that, aren't I? I'll just open it in a text editor and re-indent there. Six space indents for everything. Kinda jank, but that's one way to do it. So I think this is not a problem. These two would block it from merging. And this would block it from merging. wonder if there's some option to submodule that makes this work. I guess I could get submodule D in it. Get submodule D in it dash all dash F. Somehow. Yeah, that didn't even work. Do I have to run it twice? Hey, what's up, CodeMonkey.js? It's going well. It's going well. I'm messing with submodules, which is sometimes fun. Oh, right. It stores separate clones inside here, maybe? Yeah, so their Git repositories end up inside this Git directory. So even though I d-init them, they didn't actually do anything. When is post-commit coming? What am I doing today? So I'm working on pre-commit and working on this shallow cloning PR that a subscriber proposed to fix an issue and improve performance for cloning. So I was just like poking around, trying it out today, and first fixing the tests and then trying to see whether the approach is completely viable and seeing how we can fix it. So right now I'm working on making sure that submodules can be reinitialized if they fail to clone. What is my stream schedule? So I do finally have a stream schedule. Let's see if I can show that. So it shows on my when I'm offline, and I'll put it in my description eventually. I've not been good about updating that. But this image will show when I'm offline, and I will always be streaming, well, except for next weekend because I'm going skiing, but I'll be streaming on Saturdays at 1 p.m. And my weekday streams are pretty sporadic. But some weekdays I'll stream at 6 p.m. Yeah, some. It's like, I'm not being completely non-committal to that, but this week it was Tuesday, Thursday. Last week it was Friday and just Friday, maybe? I don't know. But my weekdays are pretty up in the air because sometimes I'll go rock climbing, or I'll go for a run, or go biking, and like that means I don't stream that day. So, some is not quite a schedule. Yeah. What is this link? Better information panel. Oh, interesting. Yeah, so one thing that I plan on doing with my information panel is to like actually make some content for it. Because right now, oh, this is like a markdown editor. That's cool. All right, I'm gonna bookmark this because that sounds useful. Also, I haven't updated my description since like December, so shows how much I've been keeping up to date on that. It's like I'm pretty sure it still mentions like advent of code and stuff, and I haven't done that. I guess I did that in January. It's only been a couple months. All the fitness, yeah, sometimes. Oh, hey, Mindful Fox, I didn't notice that was you. How's it going? How's your Thursday? Oh, see the screenshots. So it's markdown. Oh, it actually renders as markdown. Oh, is this because you can just have like arbitrary, you can have like extensions to Twitch, and then they just get full control over HTML, basically. That seems pretty nice. Challenge, current challenge. What is going on here? This is like an overlay. Cool. I am pooped. Yeah, today was a long day for me too. I had meetings. Anyway. Oh, it was created by Gooseman, another streamer, if I am right. Let's see. Gooseman. Probably not this guy. Or if it is, he doesn't stream very often and doesn't have very many followers. Oh, this guy. Let's see. Yes, this guy seems like or not guy, sorry. This person seems like, oh, they're hosting, okay. Maybe, but yeah, they have lots and lots of followers and lots of videos. And yeah, their GitHub projects include that one, so yes indeed, what a roller coaster. I'm wrong, I'm right, I'm wrong, I'm confused. Well, I should just use gender neutral pronouns whenever possible. What is this link? Oh, GitHub projects. I don't know that all of mine would fit in a widget. But yeah. But it seems like GitHub or Twitch lets you just kind of, you can make widgets that can do arbitrary HTML, so you could imagine putting whatever you want in there. Have a good stream, fix all the bugs, off to dinner, and have a good one. Well, thanks for stopping by. Have a good one. See you tomorrow at work. But yeah, those are pretty cool. One, I'll have to check those out. Make your hacks, hacker man. But I was pretty proud of. It's not much. I was pretty proud of this like offline image that I made. I had to do some HTMLs to make it lay out nicely, and I stole these icons from somewhere. And this kind of goes with the colored theme of the icon. I went back and forth on like having 3 dots versus 5 dots versus dots all the way to here, and I couldn't really decide, so I was like, yeah, whatever, 5 dots, good enough. But yeah, so that's my stream schedule. Oh yeah, my chatbot is still working. It looks pretty nice though. Yeah, it's not actually that much code either. Thumbnails. Most of it is just like positioning and font size. Let's make this bigger so we can see what's going on here. But it's an HTML page and has some stuff here. I needed an extra space here because the GitHub logo didn't position nicely. Also, it was different size than the other ones. So, I don't know. It's a little bit weird. It is responsive, oddly enough. It's not good responsive, but it is kind of. It's designed to be responsive at like 1080p like things. So you keep it like 16:9, it looks fine at any of these sizes. But except that the icons are not responsive. I didn't bother making those resize, but everything else is responsive. So oh, my favorite responsive GIF. Oh, I gotta log in. Can make me 2-factor? No. Okay. This is like one of my favorite GIFs to send to front-end developers. It's like responsive is just like dragging the window and making sure it still works. But anyway, GIFs. But yeah, it's HTML. It mostly works. It's kind of nice. I was once a front-end developer. Haven't been a front-end developer in a very long time though. And also, it's not responsive in both dimensions. Like, it's pretty jank when you make it that size. But it's only designed to work at 1080p. The original version of this, I thought I was supposed to fill a box that looked like this, and so I had to fiddle with these text sizes a lot. But and also, whenever I would like open up the inspector, it would change the size of the window, so I'd have to like figure out 1080p, and then I'd close this to look at it, and then it'd be wrong, and then, ugh. 1D responsive, yeah. The dimension is the multiplier of 16 by 9. Did I enjoy working with front end? I did, although my front end was, like, I liked building things that looked good. I didn't like client rendering that much, but I liked, like, laying stuff out nicely and having, like, responsive CSS and, like minimal JavaScript to augment the page, but not the full functionality of it. So I like that aspect of it. I was not super phased about the whole. I don't want to call React a fad, but part of me thinks it's still a fad. What is going on here? What are you? Oh, Nautilus. Got it. But yeah, I never really got into like those like front end Angular, etc. rendering frameworks. Did I work with frameworks or libraries or vanilla? To be honest, most of my JavaScript career was the jQuery era, so jQuery was my library that I used. And nowadays when I have to write JavaScript, it's almost entirely vanilla. And although most of it is like writing silly user scripts to do, I don't have them installed in here, but writing silly user scripts to kind of augment browsers. But yeah, I haven't done like significant front-end work in, let's see, since 2013, so about 6 years ago now. So my opinions about front-end are almost certainly irrelevant to anyone, but what are you gonna do, I guess? So let's see, back to these submodules. Let's see if there's a way that I can bring these back. Absorb getters. Why did I switch to backend? I think the best way to put it is, or at least the best way that I considered it, was out of necessity. So I started at Yelp as a JavaScript developer. I was hired as a JavaScript developer. My first project involved me doing not just front-end work, but also a lot of like back-end. Well, it was almost like full stack work. And then about a year into working there, I and another engineer recognized that Yelp was not going to progress nicely at its trajectory of engineers. Part of that was because the entire company essentially worked out of a single repository. At the time, it was about, I don't know, 150 engineers, and it was really hard to deploy with 150 engineers. And the eventual hope was that Yelp would scale to 1,000 engineers. And with 1,000 engineers, like, it was a problem at 150. Imagine if there were 1,000 people doing the same thing. We also recognized that like no one understood how the build worked or how any of the web frameworks worked, and like a lot of it was homegrown and written by people who weren't at the company anymore. And like we recognized that it was kind of a big problem to like continue maintaining this moving forward. And so we proposed creating a team that was going to cut down on this technical debt and try and enable developers to be as productive as possible, both while working in that repository and exploring service-oriented architecture to work outside of that repository. And so we built a team, we called it WebCore. The original like mantra was, we're going to be a web frameworks team, which was partially true. Like, we spent a bunch of time factoring out the worst parts of that monolithic code base that we always called Yelp main, still called Yelp main. And we swapped out as much of the homegrown web framework for open source web frameworks. So we used Pyramid, which is a Python framework. And we also did a bunch of stuff with like developer tooling to like make it so that they have like nice linkters and stuff, which is kind of where like I got to leverage pre-commit as a tool there. We also built the first service-oriented front ends. So we initially the only way you could ever serve pages out of Yelp was coming out of Yelp main, and our team decided like, hey, we don't want every front-end developer to have to go through this monolithic deployment cycle in this code base with 5 million lines of Python. We want like actually 5 million lines of Python. Like, I'm not even exaggerating there. It's probably 6 or 7 by now. But we wanted to enable, because at the time there were backend services and not just, there just weren't any front-end services. So we wanted to enable people to serve web pages out of independent services that were deployed on their own and not with the monolith. So we built the first set of front-end service architecture stuff and deployed the first front-end service. And so now like a bunch of pages on yelp.com are served out of a front-end service. Like this one is served, I think, well, when I left it was served out of a service called www pages, although I think it's served out of the homepage service now. Actually, maybe it was in the homepage service by the time I left. I don't remember. But this page is served out of a service. The first page that we ever served out of a service was a page called Style Guide, which is, it was kind of meta in that it required us to make all of these styles available in packages that we distributed to a bunch of different services. So like, we packaged up CSS and like the minimal amount of JavaScript to make these things work. But this was the first service that ever existed. And oh, this color has changed. Huh. Yelpy red is a different red than it was a long time ago. It used to be like D420000, but I guess it's slightly less red now. It's slightly a softer red. But I remember the first time that we got any page rendering, it was yelp.com/styleguide, and I was in a special experiment bucket so I could see it from my user login. But it was just a blank page. Well, it wasn't blank because it was red, and it just said Yelpy red and an H1 at the top, and that was our first like success story of serving a page out of a service. And then eventually, we filled out the page and had this full-blown front-end service working. Then the next page that we needed to do, or the next page that we did, was the brand page. And the reason that this page was the second one that we did was it's a simple page. It's not super important, but it needed to be translated to other languages, whereas the style guide is not translated. So if we go to yelp.it/styleguide, like, this is still English, definitely not Italian. Although if I remember right, there's parts of this that are not in English. This is just placeholder text. Where's the Yelp objects? Yeah, so these are, it's like kind of a mishmash of like partially translated stuff, just because of the way the page works. But yeah, this was the second service that we did, was the brand page, because we needed to enable the internationalization frameworks. I guess the localization frameworks, if we're being precise. But that was the second page we did, and then a bunch of pages sprung up from there. I don't remember why. Oh, I remember why. I remember why it had to be translated. Is because this this text down here is legalese, and like the lawyers required us to translate this to every language. I don't know, but that was kind of how I transferred from being a front-end developer to being like an infrastructure developer. And I learned while being an infrastructure developer that I really enjoyed doing that because I much rather building. That's not English. I was much happier building stuff that made other people more productive. Oh, I guess it was. Wait, was Yelpy Red really 420? That's pretty good. I guess that makes sense. Let's see if I can change everything to background color was C42000. This many zeros. Is that Yelpy Red? Is that the old Yelpy Red? I think so. I don't know. Hard to tell. I guess I could scroll to the top. Close. I don't know. They changed Yelpy Red. That's all. That's all I know. It's not the color I remember. But anyway, that's how I. That red was ugly. Yeah. But I don't know. It was a success when we got Yelpy Red to render at all. But yeah, submodules. What is this absorb getters? That's what I wanted to figure out. Absorb getters inspects, updates, and manages. Oh, that's still that search. The get directory with submodules inside the submodule. Oh, I see. Not helpful. What does D in it do? Unregister the given submodules. Remove this section from the git config. Huh, interesting. eBay tried to change their color one time. People were outraged. Yeah, I mean, I remember when we changed this page on Yelp.com. Let's see, Gary Danko, San Francisco. Wow, that's slow. I remember when we changed this page on Yelp.com and people like lost their minds. Oh, this is new. Huh, that's cool. I don't remember this being there. But anyway, this page used to be, I wonder if there's a blog post about it. Yelp engineering blog, business details, redesign. Yelp engineering and product blog. Anyway, we wrote this page, and Yelp has this terrible place called Yelp Talk, where people just like shitpost all day, and some of the stuff is like borderline not safe for work, so I'm not really gonna click on it. But when we changed the biz details page, Talk was just like flooded with people like completely pissed that, oh my god, you made the pictures bigger. Like, how could you do that? Like, what? We don't want big pictures. And it's like, but they used to be. Oh, I can't really. They used to be like a quarter the size of this quarter photo over here, and you used to have to like squint your eyes and like click through them all. This was much better than what it was before. And like all of this text over here was like significantly smaller font size. It was like, where's the actual font size? Anyway, the thing that most people complained about on Talk was that all of the text was bigger. It's like, oh, well, now you can read it. Cool. Yelp's UI seems to be very outdated. It is so busy. Yeah, it's pretty busy. And this page is especially busy. And the reason for that is almost all of the search traffic on Yelp lands on the business page. And almost all like web click traffic happens on this page. And so every single product team wants to get their feature on this page so that they can get click-throughs or make money off of it. And so every feature imaginable gets jammed into this page, even if it's not super useful or super relevant. Like, how many people click the share button? I don't, like, the only time I can ever remember clicking the share button was testing to make sure that these two links worked. Because there were many times when they didn't work. Or like this this URL with these Google Analytics things on the end of it. Like, oh, that looks weird. That looks like a bug. This X square is not a square. Huh. That's microbugs. Microbugs everywhere. I'm sure, like I'm sure it was tested in Chrome on macOS and never tested anywhere else, and so no one else cared about it. But also, like, yeah, like this starter review thing was like, oh, people aren't writing enough reviews because they're not clicking on this big red button up here, so we need to make a new starter review box here. Eek, methinks not. These do not localize well at all. The translations for these are just awful. Oh, this is a new page. Interesting. The writer review page used to be really ugly. But it looks like it's been improved a bit since then. Like, the text is bigger. Interesting. I like this new layout. But anyway, this is kind of weird. Like, this maybe should have expanded. It's also not very accessible that I can't resize this, but whatever. How does Yelp generate revenue? Revenue. Their primary business is through advertising. So, like, when you... I'm not going to GitHub, I'm going to Yelp. The primary way that Yelp makes money is through search ads. So, like, if I search for, I don't know, restaurants near San Mateo. We didn't get any ads that time. Huh. Usually there's... Oh, there's an ad. Which one is it? Oh, I have ad block on. How do I disable it? This button. Like, why aren't there ads? Oh, because I blocked them. Is this the sponsored one? Free craft. Yeah, so this is an ad. That's so subtle. But yeah, Yelp makes money. Business owners contribute, or business owners buy accounts that put ads on the search page. There's also ads on the business page and a couple other pages. But that's how Yelp makes money. They have a bunch of auxiliary businesses too. Like, they have a reservations product. They have, what else? Maybe that's it. Oh, there's like deals where you can, like, I don't know. There's a bunch of products that don't really make any money. In reality, Yelp is an ads company. Design got better after you left. Coincidence? I mean, I don't think I had that much influence on the design. At least I hope not. I guess I did when the biz page was leave site. Yes, I'm not actually writing a review. Yeah, I didn't have that much influence on the design, except during the business details page rewrite, where I had some input, because, well, it was mostly like pushback on product managers being like, this isn't possible, why are you asking me to do this? Or like giving them ideas on how to make a design work better. I don't know, but I didn't really have that much design input, so I don't think I can blame or take credit for any of it. But yeah. Was it your first job at Yelp? So my first technology job was at a company called Infor, which is super enterprisey, like ERP stuff. But this was like an internship out of high school, where I worked on an R&D team and like basically the purpose of my team were execs had crazy ideas and they're like, and that like impossible ideas, and they're like, build this stuff and make it happen for me. And they would basically give our team like not enough time and not enough resources, and just like go build a prototype. And so I built prototypes, and it was cool. I got to use a bunch of technologies that like I never would have otherwise, because my team was given freedom to do that. We weren't actually building products; we were just building prototypes. But then, after I left, they scrapped the team. So, I guess I don't know. It was fun while I was there. Did I wear a dress shirt? I didn't need to, but I did because I wanted to. And no one else did. Like, they would be like, I don't know, not wearing like t-shirts and stuff, but there'd be somewhere in between like dress shirt and not. But I wore dress shirts every day because why the hell not? I thought it was corporate. It was pretty corporate. But the engineering, or at least the office I was at, was a little less corporate than the other ones. Because it was in Ann Arbor, Michigan, and their headquarters is in like Atlanta or something. 168. Oof. Wow. 71 million cloud users? A little sus of this number, but could be true. Oh, headquartered in New York. Oh yeah, I've walked past their headquarters before. But yeah, their New York office is super corporate. The Ann Arbor office was pretty chill. I think they closed it though. I don't know. But yeah, Yelp was my first like not super corporate job out of college. And Lyft is my second not super corporate job out of college. Yeah, it seems to me like this dinit submodule thing doesn't do what I want. And I don't think there's any other... I guess I could try sync. Git submodule sync. No. Weird. I guess these are unrecoverable. Come on, bro. The big corpo. Yeah. It was pretty corporate, but I don't know. Oh, I wanted to see if this is a thing. Also, I like how the emojis are actually just plain text on the IRC API. What was that? This is so VM update is a tool that takes virtual envs, or it takes a requirements file and a virtual env and kind of like figures out what should and shouldn't be installed and ensures that the virtual env has the same requirements as the requirements file. But apparently there's a problem when there's a conflict. But I don't remember the invocation to make that happen. So I'm gonna try and do that as an attempt directory, right? T2? Sure. VM update dash help bootstrap deps. So VM install pip command. So I don't need to change this. I don't need to change. I need to set this. Oh no, I don't. Defaults to VM. I don't need to change that, but I do need to set this. Contributing to Yelp, yeah. Well, the thing is, like, this piece of software is actually pretty useful. No distributions. Oh, I should have done -r. No such file or directory pip faster. Uh oh. I need to actually include VM update in here. Been a while since I've figured this out. Well played. Yeah. Yeah, this worked fine. I don't... Oh, I guess I should show you this on screen. I'm commenting on this issue. I have it open already, yeah. I'm having trouble reproducing this issue with the latest version of VM update. Here's what I have. Oh, dang it. Is Rust a fad? I actually think Rust is a really good idea. I think it's a really good idea. I'm not sure though. I haven't written enough Rust to know whether it's a good idea or not though. It seems like the things that it says on the tin seem like a good idea. Anyway. I guess, yeah, is Rust... I mean, Firefox uses Rust, right? Rust backing. Backers? Who has a stake in Rust, I guess? Multi-paradigm systems programming language. Oh, at Mozilla Research, yeah. Oh no. Oh no, Brendan contributed to it. JavaScript. No, that's fine. He's learned many things. On the front page of Rust, Yelp. Really? What? I was playing. I mean, Yelp does use Rust. Not much though. What the f- Oh, I know this guy. Does he still work there? I don't know if he still works there. I chat with him on Twitter every once in a while. What is Antonio? I guess he is still at Yelp. Huh. Cool. It seems weird that they just have like one thing from him here. At least when I left, there was very little Rust at Yelp. There was like one library that got used in a couple places, and it was pretty broken. Rust, yeah, I love that game. Yelp. Yeah, he's also infra. Yeah. I think I actually have Rust the game installed. Let's see, library. No, I don't have it installed, but I have played 12 hours of it, so good job me, I guess. But yeah, Rust the game. That was really frustrating when I played Rust. Is I would have to search for Rust game and Rust lang depending on what I was looking for. But oh well. First world problems, I guess. I play games. I mean, sometimes. I mean, you saw my Steam library. I guess I can show you the games that I mostly play. He's the Pokemon master. Yeah, I play a lot of Pokemon. I guess not much anymore, but most of the games that I've been playing recently, I've been playing a lot of Faster Than Light. I don't know if you can see that. Oh, I can't even zoom. I guess I can magnifying glass. Actually, no, that's a bad idea. I'm not gonna magnifying glass because then I can't remember how to get out of it. But yeah, I have like 190 hours of this. This is the game that I've played the most. It's like 400 plus hours. Oh wait, that's not even right. Should be more than that. But anyway, I like Borderlands. Look at those hours. Yeah. I don't even want to think about how many hours I've played Pokemon for. Do I play chess? I used to play quite a bit in high school. I was never very good at it per se. Like I'm almost certainly garbage at chess now because I haven't. I think the last time I played was in 2009, like 10 years ago when I was in high school. So I don't think I've. Yeah, I don't think there's any way that I've kept any of my chess skills since then. Although the last game I played in high school, I remember winning, so that was something. They were. It was silly because they were taking photos for the yearbook for whatever reason, and my high school had a chess club. I wasn't actually part of the chess club. I just played with my friends like after school and stuff. I wasn't part of the chess club, but my friends were like, "Yeah, you should come and take photos," because none of the chess club people were there that day, and so I was in all of the chess club photos playing chess, and the person I was playing against wasn't really paying attention, and like I think I checkmated them in like 6 moves. But I haven't played chess in a long time, and I'm not very good at it. But if I had infinite free time, maybe I'd get better at chess. You big fat phony, yeah. I pretended to play chess, or I pretended to be part of the chess club, which is good enough, I guess. Yeah, so I think like the only way to recover from this broken submodules state is to actually delete the submodule directories. Git/modules. So now this should succeed. Oh no, it very much does not. Oh, I guess this works now. Yeah, so deleting that git modules and then de-initting all of them seems to work, but seems too risky to actually try it. Oh. Thank you, A1 Vegeta, for following. Every follow counts. I ran get twice here. Yeah, the notification noise is pretty loud in my ear. It always scares me. Protocol net version equals 2. Yeah, so it'll fail with unknown value for config protocol net version. I think that's fine. So we can solve this by removing the non-version 2 fetch. But anyway, I think this issue is a dead end for today. So I want to do one other thing. Oh, I closed the tab for it. Dang it. So one of the hooks that pre-commit can run is mypy, which is a type checker for Python. And I noticed the other day while I was running mypy, pre-commit hooks. I noticed while running mypy that it's kind of slow. Like if I run it, it takes a few seconds and then returns, which is pretty slow. The other thing that has been reported many times, and I'm getting sick of answering it, is if there's an error in any of the modules, so like let's say I got rid of this type signature here, that error is going to be reported a bunch of times, and you think, oh well, why is it reported a bunch of times? So what pre-commit does behind the scenes is it splits all of your files. So we had a bunch of Python files. It splits these files into chunks and then uses multiprocessing to run a bunch of copies in the background. And so any module or any file that imports this utils module from utils. Is it just called util? Yeah, sure. So any of these modules, when run individually, so pre-commit run files this. I should have just ran mypy. Even though this file is not the file that I'm testing here, this triggers an import of this module, and so this gets reported, because that's just the way mypy works. But I did some testing, and so if I run this in a clean state, run mypy all files, we time that. Command Tim not found. Timmy, where'd you go? We've lost you, Timmy. I should check out pre-commit /util. So the slowest case, which is like no cache whatsoever and running against all the files, takes about 5.5 seconds. And if I do the fast case, which is no, we don't purge the cache, takes like 1.2 seconds. Why does it keep getting faster? But actually, why does it keep getting faster? Anyway, so it's somewhere around like 800 milliseconds. But if I change this to serial mode, then it's consistently fast for this mode, and this mode is faster too, if I remember right. This seems way slower. What the heck? Weird. Okay, well I timed it on my other computer and the performance was much different. But anyway, this is the performance numbers that I got on my other computer. Cold I was seeing like 6 seconds, and cold serial I was seeing 4 seconds. And warm parallel I was seeing 1.3 seconds, and warm serial it was way faster. So I wonder, I don't know, it could just be variable load on my computer anyway. Oh, you know what? Which version of pre-commit is this? Oh, that should be the new one. Oh wait, no, that's the old one. So this should be the faster one now. No, still only, I don't know. I don't know why it was so much faster on my work computer, but because my work computer is way crappier. I guess maybe because this is a virtual machine. I don't know, but I want to run it in serial mode if for no other reason than to make this confusing error message less likely, because I'm sick of answering that question. So the trick to making that work is this repository is a mirrors repository. And so it essentially just has a setup.py which installs mypy and the pre-commit metadata that makes it work. But I need to add require serial here. The unfortunate thing is this gets generated from another repository. So we have to go to that repository is precommit mirror maker. And this is a tool that generates those repositories. And then the way they stay up to date is I have this cron that runs. And the cron essentially just loops over all of the mirror repositories and sets whatever options they need and generates them that way. So I'll need to add another option to mypy to make it generate with require serial true. But that's the plan. We'll try and make that happen. It's not the repo I want. Shut the people up once and for all. Yeah. Sick of answering that question. But yeah, it comes up in Slack almost like once every 2 or 3 days. I just have to be like, yeah, it's by design. Sorry. But now I'll be able to fix it, and then it won't be an issue. But I need to figure out how I'm gonna do that. So the way precommit mirror maker works, if I remember right, is it generates a bunch of parameters and then calls this make repo function. Yes, and it's coming back to me now. So make repo takes a bunch of different format variables and figures out some stuff here based on like the versioning of the packages, and then runs some commits. And the format variables eventually go to this format files function, which looks through the templates. And the templates are here by language, so if we look at the Python one, there's just this setup.py. And if we look at the contents of that, you can see like these placeholders get templated out later on. And if we look at the all part, this is where the that was weird. This is where the pre-commit config gets templated, and this is where the version file gets templated. That's how pre-commit mirror maker knows how to go back and find, or go back and update stuff. So it stores the version number that it used to the Python package here, or the Node package, or the Ruby package. I don't think it supports any other languages, but it supports those two for now at least. But the way pre-commit mirror maker works, it's a bit of a mouthful. It reads this version, then it like looks at mypy or whatever package manager it uses. So if it looks at like simple/mypy, and it sees, oh, 670 is the latest version, I don't need to update anything. But if it doesn't see that, it'll list out all the versions and then make commits for them. And you can kind of see the templating of this file here. Like, where did that go? Oh, we had it open here. I closed it too quickly. Yeah, so you can see like this is where this comes from. I don't know why this is in single quotes, but not this. It's like, in theory, this should always be match key. Yeah, I don't know why that's in single quotes. Oh, I know why it's in single quotes. So if I remove the quotes here, I remember why. It's a hack. It's a funny hack. If I remove the quotes here and I run pre-commit on this repository, the YAML checker will explode because this is not valid YAML. Because I don't actually use a YAML dumper to create this. But I think it might be time to switch this to use a YAML dumper for this feature. Although then I lose my templating. Oh, that's kind of a bummer. I don't know what to do there. Because I essentially, I guess I could just make require serial always show up here. And do something like this. It'll cause a change to all of the repositories when they regenerate, but as long as I set the right default, should be fine. Concern Doge. Juan, is it coincidence that I don't see all of your emojis and sometimes I just see them as text? Is that because I don't have them, or what's the deal there? Or do you just like know emojis that not everyone else can see? I don't actually know enough about Twitch, to be honest. I need nightdev.com/betterttv. Notable chat tweaks. Oh, so I guess this adds more more emojis. Is that what it is? I see. Cool. Okay. It's always been in the back of the head like, why can't I see that? Oh, but now I know. Cool, thanks. So if I change this, it should break the test, in theory. But then I need to design a command line interface for that. Okay, I was gonna say it should break the test. Now it's breaking the test. Repo path, language, package name. Require serial action equals store true. So it might be that simple. Key error requires serial. Apparently not. Oh, because I bet the tests just call that function directly. Yeah. Oh, these tests should all fail. I think. Oh no, or these should all pass is what I was gonna say. Require serial equals false. Surely there's other tests to fix here. To do, test that the package is installable. Yeah, that's not happening anytime soon. To do, never done. Oh, make repo test. Those are the ones I need to do. Make repo test. Oh, here we go, commit version. Why would I pick scikit-learn? Why would I pick that as the dependency? I don't know. Oh, I spelled file wrong here. Did I do that anywhere else? No. We're good. I'm gonna type one of these almost certainly. Should really just copy and paste. Test pass now, I guess, hopefully. Oh, I didn't fix this back. Mirror maker. Oh, yes, I didn't change this back to be the hacky string. Okay, so I think that's the first step of this. Should I add a test for that specifically? Do I test anything else? No. No, I don't. So, whatever. Higher serial. Okay, so that's the first step of this process, is to make this repo templater understand the require serial bit. And then the next is going to be feeding that through everything else. Corrected a typo, that's good. Pretty easy PR there. Wait for that to build. Oh, it only runs one version of Python, so that's pretty straightforward. Booting a virtual machine. How is the new CI doing? Well, I haven't ported enough of my stuff over to it yet. Let's see. No, what is it called? Azure pipelines.yaml. So I ported 17 things to it. Is that right? What was the last one I did? I think that might be right. Oh, did I ever finish? I think pre-commit hooks was the last one I did. Let's see, does this say 19 in it? 17? Maybe that's right. Anyway, I think that's the last one I did. But I have a lot of repos to go. Actually, I wonder if there's any that I forgot to delete the travis.yaml file from. I can find that out. Xargs replace ls. Yeah, looks like I forgot to delete travis.yaml from a few of them. So let me do that real quick. Yeah, I guess I just forgot to clean it. But it feels better. Yeah, it's faster, which seems nice. There's only one part of it that I think is missing. Well, I guess there's two features that I wish it had. One will prevent me from moving all of my repositories, and that's cron. There's no periodic tasks in Azure Pipelines right now, although I could just like spin up my own server and run cron and kick off tasks using the API, which would work just fine. The other thing that's missing is caching, although there's a proposal and like a start of an implementation on making that happen. So I imagine that'll be there pretty soon. And so like right now, in order to build, it has to always do all of the cache stuff, and so the slowest part of that is installing all of the pre-commit repos. But other than that, like it works really well, and I'm happy with it. Gotta delete the rest of these Travis.yamls though. I think I already did the Pi upgrade one because I noticed this before. I just didn't search for them. Pi upgrade. Yeah, so I already deleted that. So now if I run this, I should just get PyTest back. Because PyTest is like in the process of figuring out whether we want to use Azure Pipelines or not. Although they're our pipeline there is a lot more complicated than the ones that I have in my personal projects. It's pretty lengthy. I guess it's only 140 lines. What do I do with Python at my job? Me personally or Lyft in general? Because the answer is slightly different there. So Lyft uses Python for our backend services, or at least a good percentage of our backend services. We have a bunch of new services that are written in Go, which are intended to be the more performance critical ones. But almost all of the, I guess like 80% of our services are in Python. Yeah, so like both like websites, but also data APIs and all that sort of stuff. We also have some services that are in JavaScript that serve web stuff. We also have Python services that do the same thing. Most of what I use Python for is, well, I'm an infrastructure developer, so I don't tend to do much web development. I spend most of my time building tools for people, and so some of those tools are in Python, some of those are in different languages. Most of them are in Python, because I'd rather write tools in Python than JavaScript or Ruby or Make or Bash. Although we have some Bash tools, and it happens, I guess. So should I learn CSS, JS, HTML, and Python? Learn whatever you want to learn, like whatever you think will enable you to build what you want to build. If you want to build a website, then yeah, you'll probably have to learn JavaScript. You'll also probably have to learn CSS and HTML. Do I make tools with only Python? At least recently, yes. Although I guess I've written like a few tools with Go. Not that many at work, but I guess I haven't created them. I've contributed to tools written in Go at work. I guess I've also written a tiny amount of JavaScript at work, but mostly Python nowadays. It doesn't mean it's my favorite language. Like Python is my current poison of choice. I wish I had a more strongly typed language to work with, but it gets the job done. It's easy enough to prototype and make it happen. But almost all of my open source tooling is in Python. So if that's a good proxy for what I work on, then there you go. I'm just making a release of this pre-commit mirror maker package so that I can use it in my other tool, in the cron bit. Oops. Apparently, apparently I shouldn't type passwords on stream because there's this like technology where they did some like AI stuff at Berkeley. Keyboard sound thing. I don't know if I'll actually be able to find it. Yeah, researchers recover typed text using audio recordings of keystrokes. Well, this is really old. But apparently someone could pretty easily find my passwords, but hopefully they don't. Hopefully no one has time to do that, or that Twitch audio is low quality enough that, I don't know. What is my preferred language? I really liked, so the last time I was very, very happy writing, or with a language that I was working in was when I was working in C#. But that might have been because Visual Studio was writing half the code for me. But the compiler was pretty fast for C#. The tools were phenomenal, and the language has a lot of nice features. But for now, like, most of the stuff I write is Python, and so I guess you could consider Python my preferred language currently. But I guess, like, what are you gonna do, I guess? Alright, so we push that up. Get hub. It's supposed to be colon con mirror creation. I guess next time I type a password, I just mute myself. Now that I think about it, I'm gonna be paranoid. Alright, so mirrors mypy. We want to add require serial here. And we have to say that this is greater than version 1.3 so that it has that feature. So hopefully after this fix, that pause will be better. The other thing that I can do is overwrite the latest version with one that has require serial. So what I'm going to do for this, git checkout head. I'm going to check out a separate branch. Version? No. Pre-commit mirror. What were all the options here? Mirrors mypy. The language is Python. Language Python. Types Python. Entry mypy. Args equals this thing. And require serial. Following arguments are required. Package name. Package name mypy. Get tag. Okay, so it made the commit. But then it failed on the tag, which is what I expected. So it should have just created this line here. Get diff master. Yeah. Okay, so that's what I wanted it to do. So it looks like it's working. So I can make that same change manually. Require serial true. Have you seen those videos where you learn a language in 12 minutes? I have not. Learn a programming language in 12 minutes. Learn Go in 12 minutes.
Go is a really popular language at the moment, and for good reason. It's a really great
Does he talk
language to
fast?
learn. I'm going to
This
give you
guy's
an overview
loud.
of the language, and by the end of the video, you'll hopefully have the skills that you need to write simple Go programs. If you go to golang.org, you'll find a link to be able to download and install.
Yeah.
You can see this if you type go env go path called anything. The first
Okay.
line in a Go file needs to be the name of the package. Every project, at least if you want to be able to execute it, needs to have a
That's
package
true.
called main.
Yep.
And the first one you'll want is a function called main. It takes no arguments and it doesn't return anything. But this is where the program starts, a function called main inside of the pack output here in the terminal. But what it has created is this.
Learn Go in 12 minutes. The video is 13.3 minutes
It's
long.
going to be a .exe file.
For
and you
shame.
can run that outside
For
of the standard
shame.
variable.
But yeah, I mean, so far it seems like a good tutorial. But no, I haven't seen those videos before. It looks like there's a bunch of them. This one is actually 12 minutes. Unlike this one. But yeah, seems like I mean, I think if you have basic programming, like if you've written in one language, it's not hard to apply those to different language, in my opinion. Get tag. O.670-1. Oh, I want to commit first. It's just the syntax that messes me up in new languages. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's the biggest barrier to entry, is syntax. Yeah. So that got implemented. Unless it's a functional programming language, say goodbye to productivity. Yeah. I will be the first to admit I don't really know any functional programming languages. I've written a tiny amount of F#, although the F# was not idiomatic. It was basically procedural F#, so it looked a lot like C, not like F#. Learn Perl in 12 decades. It's probably pretty accurate. How many hours do you recommend I practice to be good? To be honest, I don't know that any amount of practice will make anyone good at programming. I don't think I'm particularly good at programming, and I've been practicing for what, 15 years almost. I mean, I think I'm good. I don't think I'm exceptionally good. But I don't know. Are you talking about hours per week, or hours to learn a language really well? 10,000 is the magic number. Yeah, right. Oh, my pull request failed. This is weird. Oh, it's not even here. I don't even see it. What? Maybe I didn't create the PR. Nan hours. Error and pull request. Apparently this commit already failed for some reason. No matching distribution for this That was the version we just uploaded, right? Pre-commit mirror maker. Yeah, it's still there. Not a number hours. What do you consider good? I don't know. Like, if you watch me program, I know some of the APIs, but I also spend a significant amount of time like Googling stuff. I think like being good at Googling is better than being good at a programming language. Like I could write Ruby, and I don't know any Ruby, but if I can Google for the right things, I can figure out how to get working and potentially idiomatic code. Idiomatic code really depends on whether you have a good linter or not, I guess. There are good linters in Ruby, so I can lean on them to hopefully write reasonably good code. Okay, so this failed for just dumb reasons, I think. I could probably retry it and make it green. What was I doing? I don't know what I was doing. Well, I closed this bug. Use Crystal. It's basically compiled Ruby. Do you mean like Crystal Math? Crystal Lang. Oh yeah, somebody showed me this in chat the other day. It looks very much like Ruby. Crystal syntax is heavily inspired by Ruby, so it feels natural to read and write. Lower learning curve for experienced Ruby devs. Crystal is statically type checked. It actually looks pretty okay. I mean, it looks nice. I feel like I said this last time. I mean, it looks like Ruby, which I don't really like Ruby, but... and, if it has static type checking, sounds great. Sign me up. I wish I could have static type checking for everything. Key bindings. Oh yeah, this is where I was like, huh, I'm gonna stop reading here. Author says the compiler won't scale though. That's unfortunate. Yeah, and there's still 0 version, so it's a bit of a bummer. Oh cool, this passed. Nice. Alright, so that's the things that I wanted to do today, I think. Oh, I guess another thing that I wanted to mention is I made some beginner tasks on pre-commit, so if someone wants to learn the code base and write some small features, I created these 3 3 starter tickets. They're not too bad to get started with. I'll walk through them pretty quickly. The first one is, oh, here's a thumbs up. Someone else wants this cool as well. Cool. So right now, pre-commit has a minimum pre-commit, or minimum, maybe it's this verbose? I don't even remember. Minimum, yeah. So there's this minimum pre-commit version, which you can specify at the hook level. So if I modify my configuration here, if I know that I need this to have at least pre-commit version 1.15.0, or 15 isn't out yet. Like if I knew that this hook depended on being at least version 1.14, I could set this key here. But what I want to also be able to do is set it at the top level, so you can say like anyone who's using my configuration needs to have at least this version. And you can set this here, it just doesn't do anything yet. And so this issue is about making this have some teeth. This one would be pretty easy to get started with. You'd mostly modify the configuration loading, which happens in pre-commit client-lib.py. And so you'd add, similar to the one that's already here, minimum pre-commit version. You would add a checker here for that. Somewhere on that code base must be something named hooker. I don't think so. Git grab -I hooker. Nope. That'd be pretty funny though. It also wouldn't surprise me. But yeah, so this would be a pretty easy one to get started with. Warn on unknown keys at the top level. This one would be a little bit more involved than that last one. It would basically be a check in this file, maybe? Load config. Load config. Oh, I guess it would be like something either in here or as part of the schema up here to... Where's the repos schema? Yeah. So you might add another check, like another like warn on unused keys, and then pass in the keys here, repos, etc. I don't know. I don't have a good design for how that one would work, but this would be one way to do it. Another way would be to check them all down here. Do something like data equals ordered loads. I'm gonna do something like ret equals this, ret equals that, or k in ret, if k, I guess like expected keys equals something like this. If k not in expected keys logger dot warning. I don't know, something like this. Just basically warn on any keys that were unknown in the configuration. This is basically to prevent people or like help people that are making typos, or let people know that a feature they're depending on isn't available yet. But that would be a pretty easy one to get started on. And then the last one would be the easiest one. This one would just be a complete walk in the park. Who is Ghost Squad? Get a Ghost Squad. They've upvoted my GitHub issues. Oh, they also made another GitHub issue, which I was like, no. They want to change the colors. Precommit is not white on yellow, it's definitely white on green. But that's okay. But the last one is just changing some help text in precommit run all files show diff on failure. Basically to say like, you should probably run precommit install locally, and you can reproduce this locally by running this command. Most of this is to like help people that are either new to the project or new to a project using this in CI, to help them know how to use this tool locally, or like give them the TLDR so they don't have to stumble into the docs or like ask in Slack, hey, how do I run this linter? It can just tell them. But those are 3 easy starter tasks. If anyone wants to pick them up, I'd be more than happy to walk them through them. I think I made some other, maybe that was on a different project recently. This is an easy one for all repos if you wanted to do something there. Oh, I guess that was it. Anyway, I accomplished the things that I wanted to do today, so I think I'm gonna call it a night, and thank you all for stopping by. Let me do the wind down that I usually do. If you missed any part of the stream, you can catch the full streams on YouTube, and that's at youtube.com/AnthonyWritesCode. So it's the same as my Twitch handle. I have a little bit of brand synergy there. And I usually stream on a schedule, which I showed earlier. So usually I stream on Saturdays at 1 p.m. Pacific time. And sometimes during the week, like today, I will stream at 6 p.m. Pacific time. But my midweek streams are a bit sporadic, and so I usually announce before I go live on Twitter. And if you want to follow me on Twitter, I'm twitter.com/codewithanthony. I couldn't get Anthony Writes Code there, so this was the second best thing. But yeah, I usually announce my streams there, so if you wanna follow me there, that's where I'll announce them. But other than that, that's all I have for today. Thank you guys for stopping by, and have a good one.